This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 26th day of November in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Guyana and Brazil have agreed to restart discussions on the road project that would make travel between the two neighboring states much easier. The Minister of External Affairs of Brazil and the government team paid a one-day visit to Guyana and held discussions today with President Irfan Ali and other government officials. In a joint statement, the two sides said they reviewed the existing program of cooperation between Guyana and Brazil and agreed to the implementation of a number of measures aimed at expanding and strengthening collaboration at the bilateral and regional levels within the context of existing cooperation mechanisms. Several decisions were taken to enhance cooperation in the areas of infrastructure, trade and investment, health, agriculture, energy, tourism, and security. In addition to resuming discussions on the completion of the Guyana Brazil road project, as well as the implementation of the International Road Transport Agreement, the two sides have also agreed to advance discussions on energy cooperation, including environmental aspects through the exchange of technical missions and information. There will also be greater collaboration between the health officials as both states continue to grapple with the ill effects of COVID-19. A memorandum of understanding for the technical feasibility studies for the installation of optical network from Boa Vista in Brazil to Georgetown was signed during the visit, recognizing the importance of establishing digital connectivity infrastructure between the two countries, the statement said. Guyana and Brazil have also agreed to intensify collaboration in the area of security and the fight against illicit activities and organized crime through the exchange of information and expertise. They have signed the International Technical Cooperation Agreement between the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit of Guyana and the Federal Police of the Federative Republic of Brazil. Several other agreements were signed and other commitments made during the meeting. The President of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, is scheduled to make an official visit to Guyana next year to further strengthen cooperation between Guyana and Brazil. More news coming up in just a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
we are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
Ravinas and Water Street and Anans and Regent Street just received a new shipment of leatherette in over 16 colors. Leatherette can be used in a wide variety of applications, including covering speedboat seats, cargo, and keeping commuters dry. Ideal for minibus and car seats, leatherette can be custom made to your seating requirements. Leatherette is easy to clean and sanitize and a better choice during the COVID pandemic. For fast and comfortable shopping, visit us to get the best prices in town. Ravinas and Water Street and Anans and Regent Street.
That's a great start powered by Yuasa Battery. Yuasa Battery is the #1 Japanese brand. It's durable, improves performance, maintenance-free, and comes with absorbent glass mat technology. Yuasa Battery, trusting starting power for over 100 years. Choose Yuasa Battery for the best battery for your vehicles. Yuasa Batteries distributed by JCA Trading Inc. Telephone number 231-9446-9.
For all the Zoom hashouts and recipe tryouts, The world changed, and we were right there, standing with you, always near, getting closer in so many ways, laughing together as we face these days. And because we are Caribbean, we've got a special insight that tells us there's no need to worry, world. We'll be all right.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Welcome back. Let's tell you now that President Irfan Ali has announced that all healthcare workers across the country will receive the equivalent of 2 weeks of their monthly salary as an end-of-year bonus. The president made the announcement this afternoon and said the money is expected to be paid out before the end of December. He did not provide any additional details on the bonus for healthcare workers, but noted that it will form part of his government's commitment to reward the health workers who have been on the front line in the fight against COVID-19. Last month, healthcare workers in Linden, Georgetown, and West Demerara protested for a number of days during their breaks, pressing the government for an increase in the risk allowance, along with improved salaries and adequate protective care. The government and the Public Service Union have been in talks and consultations since then on the issue. The union has been pressing for a long-term increase rather than a one-off payment. The World Bank has announced that it has approved $7.5 million to aid in Guyana's COVID-19 emergency response project. The money is to be used to support the country in tackling the current pandemic and strengthening Guyana's healthcare system.
These loans are going to help us to improve our response. It's going to help us, for example, with the World Bank, $7.5 million. $7 million is focused on the response itself, with $500,000 being available for monitoring and evaluation and management of that particular project. The $7 million, we are looking at developing and strengthening our laboratory capacity, not just centrally, but in the regions as well. So that's one area that we are looking at. We want to improve contact tracing so that if there's anybody who is positive, that we can trace all the people they have been in contact with. We are looking at improving hospital capacity, so improving the types of equipment that we have.
According to the World Bank's Country Director for the Caribbean, Tahsin Said, the bank is working with member countries in the region to help them respond to COVID-19 and prepare for a resilient recovery. The financing for Guyana is expected to help the country in tackling the current crisis and handle future emergencies. The official said the project will strengthen care for COVID-19 patients, improve the country's ability to identify positive cases, and enhance the health system's capacity to deliver critical care to vulnerable populations, including the elderly and people with chronic conditions. The Guyana COVID-19 Emergency Response Project will also strengthen laboratory capacity, support screening and surveillance, improve contact tracing, and equip healthcare facilities for more effective treatment and care of COVID-19 patients. And the project will also include activities specifically targeted to reach local communities across the country and in the hinterland regions, through expansion of contact tracing and psychosocial support to vulnerable households. Under the project, it will also contribute to preparing the healthcare system for the effective deployment of a safe and approved COVID-19 vaccine. Authorities in Region 6 are stepping up their monitoring of a number of communities as there is a climb in COVID-19 cases in the ancient county. As of midnight last night, there were 40 new cases of coronavirus recorded across the country. 26 of those cases are from the Region 6 communities, including in the town of New Amsterdam. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony today said the medical teams in the areas are doing their monitoring. He said in one Region 6 village, the numbers have been climbing, and that is cause for concern.
Region 6, we have seen a number of cases. We have seen a slight increase in cases in New Amsterdam. And of course, we have cases in Oriala and we have cases in Siparuta. The amount of cases in Siparuta, because of the testing that we have done, has gone up slightly. But again, we have been actively monitoring the situation, and we expect within a 2-week period that you'll see those numbers going down.
Guyana has recorded more than 5,000 cases of coronavirus since the first case was recorded back in March. For this month alone, more than 1,000 new cases have been recorded. There are currently 868 active cases in the country, with 768 of those persons in home isolation. Some sad news to report now. A 20-year-old recruit of the Guyana Defense Force died this morning after falling ill during training in the basic recruit course. The young man has been identified as Erwin Reynolds. A statement from the Guyana Defense Force indicated that he was transferred to the Georgetown Public Hospital after complaining of being unwell. He was initially seen by medical personnel of the GDF. According to the GDF, the recruit was deemed fit for military training by the Force medical officer, having successfully passed the Force's medical examination. The Force stated that all medical protocols were followed once the young man fell ill. A post-mortem examination is to be conducted to determine the cause of death. The Guyana Defense Force has extended condolences to his parents and other relatives. Let's tell you now that a 42-year-old woman who was earlier this week held with more than 4 pounds of cocaine in her suitcases at the Chedijagan airport appeared in court this morning and pleaded not guilty to the cocaine trafficking charges. Plaisance resident Tommy Ann Bunbury, who worked in Suriname as a vendor, denied all of the allegations filed against her this morning as she appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. The court was told that on the 23rd of November, Bunbury was an outgoing passenger at the Chedijagan airport when agents carried out a search of 2 suitcases that she was carrying. The search unearthed the cocaine stash in the cover of books and in makeup containers and containers of other beauty products. She was immediately arrested and charged. The Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit said the mother of 7 traveled between Guyana and Suriname regularly since she worked as a vendor in Suriname. She recently traveled across from Suriname to take the flight to New York. Bunbury will again appear in court on the 23rd of December when her case comes up again. Across the Region is coming up next. Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop. and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Been through it all.
But as a people, we have
Weathered every storm.
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
That gives it its strength.
all the people,
Regardless of race,
class, or religion.
we are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Across the region right now, huge crowds of fans have gathered at Argentina's presidential palace as they seek to pay their final respects to football legend Diego Maradona. 3 days of national mourning have begun after the national hero died of a heart attack yesterday at the age of 60. Many people wept, blew kisses, or said prayers as they filed past the footballer's coffin. But there were tense scenes outside as police pushed back large numbers of people still queuing to get in. Maradona's coffin, draped in Argentina's national flag and football shirt, was expected to be on public display until this afternoon, ahead of a procession through the streets of Buenos Aires. But by mid-afternoon, queues stretched back for more than a kilometer, and the police clashed also with mourners as they tried to close off the palace in anticipation of the wake. There were reports of tear gas being used as officers in riot gear struggled to hold the crowd back. Later, the authorities extended access to the casket for a few more hours. Antigua and Barbuda's Information Minister Melford Nicholson on Thursday announced that Michael Brown, the legislator who resigned as Education Minister on Wednesday, has been arrested and charged. The Information Minister did not state the nature of the charge. Following the news of Brown's arrest, Prime Minister Gaston Brown asked the Governor General to rescind the appointment of the former Education Minister from the Cabinet. According to the Prime Minister, the Education Ministry portfolio has now been given to the minister responsible for sports and festivals. Michael Brown reportedly resigned following allegations made against him by a woman. On Thursday, he was arrested and charged and granted bail in the sum of 15,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars when he appeared in court. His attorney told the court that her client has no previous arrests and will not be interfering with the victim or witnesses. The presiding magistrate granted the former minister bail and ordered him to surrender his travel documents and report to the police 3 times per week. And finally tonight, international news. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says he's launching the final phase of the army's operation in the northern region of Tigray after weeks of fighting. He said the military would try not to harm civilians in the region's capital of Mekelle, a city of 500,000 people. He urged residents to stay at home. The TPLF party, which controls Mekelle, has vowed to keep fighting. The United Nations has warned of possible war crimes if the Ethiopian army attacks Mekelle. The UN Human Rights Chief told the BBC that the city's inhabitants were in deep peril. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting.